your safest way out.
Hey! This emergency exit is painted on!
There's no way out! There's no way out! We're through!
That's right. Now is the time to open your mind. In our search for the unknown, who knows what we will find? This is Emergency Exit. I am your host, Los, and with me as always today is Brandon Mitchell. How you living, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Nick is off for the week. It is his anniversary with his lovely wife. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Lemon, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Lemon. Happy anniversary, Nick and Laura. That's right. If you guys check us out on Facebook, like us on Facebook, here's Roxanne Nicole from Arlington or Fort Worth area. She says, really like the Jack Ripper show. Jack the Ripper mysteries are great. And I tried Sculpin IPA. Thanks for the Brew World order. Okay, bye.
Wow, that was just very to the point, and then she's out.
She's like, okay, bye.
She's a very efficient person.
Well, thank you, Roxanne. That is my little sister, and I will give you the 5-star. That's right there.
That's right.
Take it in.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
I feel like that doesn't get used very often, so it's a very special
I
occasion.
definitely try to keep it from using it. I keep getting these notifications here. Sorry. All right, you guys. Today on the show, we will lift the veil on the mystery operation that is known as the U.S. economic system. How is it used to suppress the masses? Oh, well, how is it used? Is that what it says? How is it used to suppress the masses? It should say how it's used. Oh, I guess I can't say it that way. Try it again. Tonight, let's use this here.
All right. Oh, yeah, give it a bed.
Tonight, we lift the veil on the mystery operation that is known as the U.S. economic system. How it's used to suppress the masses through regulation, manipulating interest rates, and literally creating money from thin air using the fractional reserve banking. So grab yourself your purse or wallet and think extra hard about how much you value those little slips of empty promises. This is Emergency Exit.
I've actually got quite a few slips of those empty promises in my money clip right now. Well, not quite a few, but
what, you just
know,
rocking a bunch of cash?
Not a lot.
Flash
but,
your cash out. I don't have a dime in my wallet. I usually don't carry cash.
Yeah, neither do I. It was just I just needed some for before I came over and dropped it off, and I got a little bit of a surplus.
The only time I have cash is when I'm buying weed. Or if I'm getting tacos at work.
So your dealer doesn't take Squarespace or anything like that?
No, unfortunately he doesn't.
He's off the books.
He is off the books. So hey, so we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve here. We're going to talk about the economy. We're going to talk about money, or it's just about money today.
Yeah.
This thing that we value so fucking much that we spend a third of our day or even longer than that just trying to make some so that we can keep a nice roof over our heads, or so we can buy some beer, or so we can buy weed.
Whatever, yeah.
So, where does it come from, really? We're going to really just kind of dip into it a bit. Brandon did a lot of research, and we're going to read it all here. So I apologize in advance for my shitty reading, because I read just as bad as Trump reads, I'm sure. And
But he doesn't do a teleprompter, though, right?
He
thought
does.
That was his big thing. He was like, no teleprompter.
I've seen him read. He doesn't do teleprompters, but he'll read
he's old school.
Yeah, he'll read a piece of paper in front of him, and he'll I literally wanted to Google through his speeches and everything, what grade level it seems like he reads at,
Oh, God.
Because he uses a lot of the same words over and over like I do.
That's right.
And
they're terrible people.
He keeps saying, terrible, or it's like real bad. These guys are real bad.
They're losers.
Like you're losers. It's like, don't call them monsters. They like that.
Yeah.
We call them losers.
It empowers them.
Believe me.
Well,
they
because
hate
he's
that.
a winner. I mean, all he does is win, win, win.
No matter what. I mean, yes, he does win. I mean, can you say that he doesn't win?
No, I mean, I think everybody can agree he's at least somewhat successful. I mean he's worth millions of dollars. He's a terrible person, But, sadly, the society that we live in is a lot of times terrible people succeed in life.
Well, I think they lack morality sometimes. Like that dickhead that had the I think it was EpiPen, or maybe he had some sort of cancer drug, and he fucking 700%
the price. Yeah.
And he just smiled at people when they went to him, and he's like, "Fuck you, suck my dick."
But no, that's capitalism, Los.
It is capitalism.
That's capitalism,
and it's fucking shitty as all fuck. But I'm sure if you had the money, you'd probably do it. So let's get into some economy. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. I feel like I should have like a bumper song. We should have bumper songs.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. All right. So, who wants to start? Do you want to start this, buddy?
Yeah, I can start it.
Let's do it.
All right. So, I mean, do you know what exactly the Federal Reserve is?
I know that the Federal Reserve is a place that's not federally owned, and I'm sure we'll cover that.
Yeah.
I know that they make money, and they make it from thin air. I know it's run by the Rothschilds. Is that correct?
I'm sure they have a big part in it.
Or at least they started it. And there are many Federal Reserve banks all over the country. Matter of fact, the only ones that aren't in country are ones that we're at war with, countries that we're at war with. So I feel like once we get into another country, we will throw in another Federal Reserve bank there, and we will monetize their money and all that good shit. Yeah. But as for what it is, man, how you get a job there, I don't know, man.
Oh, man, you just got to be very lucky, I guess, or maybe a terrible human being. I don't know. But yeah, like you summed it up, it's a private institution that is charged with regulating our monetary system. Let's see. They lend and borrow money to other banks here in the U.S. And it's not quite lending money and interest rates like that's on your credit card or your mortgage. They're only applicable to other banks because, just to sum it up, when a bank closes down at the end of the day, 5 o'clock, they close all their books and make sure that they've got a set amount of money in their vault, essentially, and it matches up with what they have.
Right.
And if a lot of times it doesn't, because of what's called fractional reserve banking, and we'll get into that later. But basically, they make sure everything checks out, and if it doesn't, they essentially apply for a loan at the end of every night to the Federal Reserve to float them, the rest of for the night. And when you hear in the news that the Fed's going to raise interest rates or they're going to drop interest rates, that's what it's applying to. So it's not necessarily applying to your mortgage or your car note or something like that. It does trickle down and has an effect on it, but it's the interest rate that they're talking about is just the bank-to-bank loans.
Okay.
But, so if a bank is having to pay higher interest on money that they borrow from the Fed, they, essentially are going to trickle that cost down to you, the consumer.
At what cost? Interest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, and it changes over time. So Federal Reserve, it started with a gold standard, right? People had gold. And they couldn't. How would you pay someone with gold back then? Would everybody have a scale or something?
Well, yeah, way back in the days, that's you would pay by weight of gold, but that was, imagine having to walk around with gold all the time.
Yeah, it's just that's with rocks in your
risky,
pocket.
Yeah, rocks, and gold is is a little bit heavy. It's very dense.
Sure.
So that's when the physical, the dollar and the coins were invented so that you didn't have to carry all that around, and the dollar represented.
Were coins made out of gold at all? Would they just press them into?
Yeah,
coins?
They can do that. Yeah,
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
once they got away from the little scales, they just made them into.
But
gold
because
coin.
it's such a soft metal, it's very
soft.
Yeah, it's very soft. So you couldn't make coins that would last a long time.
Yeah.
So they had to find a way of making this represents this amount in gold, and it's a piece of paper, and you can give it around. Everyone can use it, and that's where the Federal Reserve comes from.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we're talking about here.
And prior to. I gotta get to it, but I believe it was 71, or actually no, 34. You could go to a bank with, let's say, a $20 bill and say, "Give me $20 worth of gold."
I need $20 of gold.
Yeah, and it just so happens
in the 30s
at that time,
it happened?
yeah, mid-30s. 1 ounce of gold was $20.67. So you could go there with that.
1 ounce was only $20.
1 ounce.
My
yes.
goodness, opposed to nowadays, it's like, 1,600 maybe.
Is it? I have no idea what it's
Yeah,
at.
let me. Yeah, you keep talking and I'll get this going.
But prior to this, gold was set like it didn't change. It was set at $20.67 an ounce. Wow,
it's $1,320 an ounce. So it's $1,300 more than it was in the 30s when you say, here's $20. I want
$20 worth of gold.
Well, in this case, you go, here's $1,300. I'd like an ounce of gold.
Yeah.
Seems like it's what they call inflation, huh?
Yeah. Well, gold now, like the U.S. dollar isn't backed by anything now. So
if I went to a bank right now and said, here's $20, could they give me gold?
No.
Why not?
They view gold and U.S. currency they're two different. It's like dollar to the euro.
Okay, so where are they using gold as their currency?
As far as I know, nowhere.
Only the aliens are using gold nowadays. They need the gold.
Well, I believe it was the ancient Sumerians that we were put on this earth to mine gold. Was it not?
I've heard something like that. We mine gold for them, and they use the gold in their atmosphere.
Oh, I didn't know that. How could you use gold in the atmosphere?
Well, you can atomize it, and it will like a spray that's got gold in it, or like a little gold flakes or something.
Yeah,
you can make them like glitter.
But what would that do in the atmosphere?
I don't know, man. Something in the space. It depends on like what kind of atmosphere this planet has. Where are the Sumerians from?
Well, yeah, because gold doesn't rust, so I guess that's maybe why it doesn't oxidize.
There you go. I guess. Or maybe it's to block radiation from their planet that's of this atmosphere that's dying.
It is very shiny, so yeah, I guess
and it would block the radiation, and because the radiation they've experienced, it turned their skin into this pale gray, and because of the radiation they evolved into these screens over their eyes because their pupils are very big at this point, and the radiation would go that, and they have a lot. They're smarter than us, so they have a bigger brain. Are we talking about gray aliens here?
I think that's where we're going, yeah.
Holy shit. My goodness. All right, we got to get back on track here. But we're talking about the ounce, the gold right now. So where are we at in this gold?
All right,
here?
so let's just start with what's behind the dollar.
Okay, what is behind the dollar? All right, so let's talk about the dollar. So we all know that a slip of paper with some numbers on it can actually be worth something of material value. So what does the U.S. dollar represent, and what is it backed by? That's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Nothing! That's what. Our currency in the United States is worth absolutely fucking nothing. And once upon a time, it was backed by gold or silver, just like we were saying, That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, you can go back to the bank. We told you, we said all this. We can go back and get the gold. Pre-WW2 standard was set at 1 ounce of gold for $20.67. Okay, we ended the gold standard because we couldn't mine gold as fast as we printed money. So we actually were just printing the money without the gold there. That's the first fucking problem there. You should only have. Well, I guess if you give it, you have to have it already. But there's the problem. You should be issued as like a receipt saying, okay, you will now. Then there's like more shitty shit coming up there. This whole thing is
it's flawed from the beginning.
And who put value on gold in the fucking first place?
See, that's what I've always wondered. Like,
who said that gold is so important?
I've always wondered that. I can understand it's
and
cool
it's so
to look
abundant
at,
in our world.
But who says? So why not? Just some other form of metal.
What's more rare than gold? Platinum. There's that's all I can think of. Unobtainium is another one.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that somebody said, well, it probably comes from the ancients. They would use gold because of its shininess. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Gold shines like the sun. The sun is literally our god, and I'm sure. I think that's where it comes from. Ancients, and it just goes back. This was a gift from God because it's the same.
It's same color.
It had to be from God. Okay,
and then also I guess it's soft, so it's easy to work with. Versus other metals, iron ore and stuff like that is very, very hard.
Yeah,
very hard to work with. Whereas gold is very, very soft.
Very soft. Matter
So
of fact,
very easy to make coins, medallions, bracelet.
if you were to get like a gold coin and kind of do that old test where you'd see in the cartoons or the old TV shows where they'd bite it,
try and bend it.
try to bend it because it could be made of tin or something. But you can absolutely kind of, you wouldn't bend it as much as tin, but you would definitely feel it, and it's a very soft, like you said, very soft metal. Okay, so the fall of the gold standard. When did it go down here? It took place over a few decades. And the first big event in the demise was in March of 1933, right after, right in the middle of the Great Depression and right after the prohibition of alcohol, by the way, too.
Rough time.
Yeah, well, actually, good time because this when it was lifted. In the
okay,
30s, it was lifted. The 20s, I think it spent a few years, I think 1920 or so, and then in 32, maybe
That sounds right.
it got lifted. Anyways, so President FDR put on a nationwide moratorium on all banks and forbade, I hate that word, forbade them to pay out or export any gold. So President FDR said, no more fucking gold, okay? Because people were hoarding their gold because of the fall of the economic system and the failure of dollars. So people are going, man, shit's getting fucky, dude. Like, hold on to your gold.
Yeah.
Don't give it to nobody.
Put it in the mattress.
Put it in the mattress. Go bury it somewhere in the yard. It's fucking fucky. So April 5th of 33, FDR orders all gold coins and gold certificates of $100 or more to be turned into the Federal Reserve by May 1st of 1933, which is less than a month. And they would be exchanged at their value of $20.67. Within a month, they had $300 million in coins and $470 million in gold certificates. So they were just flooded
In a month.
In a month.
Can you imagine like if they tried to do that today?
Well, if they said, well, they can't do that today. You got to turn in all your $1, every single $1 bill you have, and we're going to issue you a coin for it.
Yeah.
Which I think at one point they were going to do that. I remember when they had. It was the new president coins that they put out, not the Sacagaweas, but the new president coins. Remember, it was 5 or 6, 8. I don't know how much they were, but I remember having them, and I remember hearing that they were going to get rid of the $1 bill back then.
Yeah,
that we were all just going to be using coins, just like fucking
the euro and
like the
everything.
euros.
I mean, the
and shit.
coin money makes sense because it has a longer life. I think I've read somewhere that paper money has a life of about 10 to 12 years, whereas coin is upwards of 20, 30 years. I mean,
I didn't know they
that
had
makes
shelf
sense.
lives. I'm sure.
Well,
the
you
metal,
think about a dollar. You get a really worn out dollar.
seen
We've
some
all
fucked
gotten
up
them.
ones,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Whereas a coin's going to pretty much stay intact.
Matter of fact,
That's why you find, the coveted, what is it, the penny that's pre-World War I, that's mostly copper, that's worth some money.
Oh, well, yeah, 2 extra cents.
That's why you still find them, though. That's why they're kind of still around, even like 30s. Or here, I think I got some chain. No, I don't.
Well, I was, I am a magician, and there is a trick I love to do where I take somebody's $1 bill, take another $1 bill, and I'll, hold them together, and then I'll fold them you see everything, and then I'll open it back up. It's a $2 bill.
Oh.
So what if one day they say the $2 bill is going to be worth nothing? Well, it's still going to be worth something.
Yeah.
So here we go. Let's move on. Well, I was going to mention with this magician thing is that I do also a trick where I take a $1 bill and I rip it in half, and then I put it back together, and it's like no tape, no nothing. It's all
Wow.
back together. It's a very impressive looking trick. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. I am really ripping a bill, and I'm just merely switching it. I'm doing the old switcheroo.
Sleight of hand.
So for me, when I did this trick, like nightly, I would have several $1 bills that are, they're half.
So you would pre-rip them in half?
No. What I would do is I don't want to give you the secret too much, but the bottom line is that I have an actual real bill in my hand concealed, and I'll take theirs with my concealed one, and I'll rip theirs, and I'll do a little thing where it looks like I'm folding it, and then I'll open it back up as if it was the same piece, and it's back together, and I've switched it magically, right? And I would have tons of these fucking $1 bills that are just halves, and I would take them and I would tape them up, and I would take a whole stack of them and bring them to the bank, and then get them all replaced.
Get them all. There you go.
So the money's worth nothing. They say you can't deface the money, but you literally are like cutting it up. It's a one fucking $1 bill. It doesn't mean shit. So we're gonna flash back again here. January 30th of 1934, the Gold Reserve Act actually made it illegal for an individual to possess any sort of gold.
Wow.
This also changes the value of gold to $35 an ounce in attempt to attract foreign investors. So they said, hey, gold's a little more over here, buddy. Bring your gold. We'll take that shit.
Yeah.
It's like they know they know that gold is still valuable, but we'll say, hey, we got this
We'll
paper
give you
money.
$35 American for
It's like, hey, I've got this fucking paper that it said, here, dude, like you can have more of it if you want to give me your gold, which it's ridiculous. They can keep saying, here's more money for the same amount of fucking gold.
Yeah.
And it means nothing because it's still only worth $20 fucking in our fucking mind.
Yeah. Well, when they upped the gold from $20.67 to $35 an ounce, that increased, essentially inflated the money supply by 69%.
69,
Yeah.
dude. So yeah, man, they really
Wow.
they really got that shit crazy, like.
Yeah.
So has any president tried to go back to like a gold standard or anything?
No, not that I've found. Like they're quite comfortable with how it is and how it operates.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
So what else do we have here?
Well, back in, I'm sure, I wasn't born in this time, but if we have some older members in our audience, August 15th, 1971, President Nixon came on the air and interrupted live TV shows to say that we would no longer convert dollar bills or convert dollars to gold at a fixed price. Eliminating the gold standard completely. Before it was
At
only
a fixed price. What do they mean by that?
By that it was just 35. How it started at $20.67 an ounce, and then they increased it to $35 an ounce. Now it would essentially fluctuate as a separate currency. How if you're
So gold is not back. It's not backed by the dollar at this point.
Yeah, you've got U.S. currency and you've got gold. They're completely separate now. So, like, if you're going to travel to another country and use a different currency,
so like I said in the beginning, it's backed by nothing at this point.
Yeah,
it's just fucking money. It's just paper now. What
it's an idea.
Let's listen to Nixon announces he interrupted a bunch of TV shows just to say a little something about money here.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
And he actually said he temporarily suspended it. Has it ever been lifted?
No.
So it's indefinitely. It's been.
Yeah.
We are going to lift this indefinitely. Well, it's another fucking lie from that cocksucker Nixon. Not to mention the war on fucking drugs that he started.
Oh, God.
You Nixon? Yeah, you. I know where you used to live. Yorba Linda, California. Yeah, motherfucker. Well, I know that because I used to work in Yorba Linda.
Oh, okay.
And it's good. They go, home place of.
They pride themselves on it.
They pride themselves. Hey, this is where we have a Richard Nixon library, and he's born here. You can come see his house he grew up in. Who gives a flying fuck?
Kind of like Johnson City.
Is that what Johnson?
LBJ.
Is that really?
Yeah,
right?
you never been out there? Yeah. The LBJ ranches out there.
I didn't even know that it was called Johnson City based on him.
I don't know that it's based on it, but I mean, it seems to be more than a
Is that
coincidence.
his hometown?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that, well, shit. Who knows? His family probably did fucking
Probably.
start the joint.
They founded
What am I
the
trying to say
city.
there? All right, so where should we go on from here? Regulations.
Well, let's give a little background. So
Let's go.
The U.S. government essentially is what we're getting at is they manipulate the economy to suppress the people, just to keep them down. And I mean, how they like the elimination of the gold standard is a good example. That was a good start, but now I think we're going to shift into how different, like how the government puts regulations on businesses. I mean, they have a lot of different guises of what they want to do.
Regulations on what though?
On any and everything. Okay, I mean,
On the way that they make money.
No, I mean, just in general, this episode, I think we're going to focus just on the economy entirely instead of just the Fed. The Fed, of course, I mean, since they make and control the money, they have a big part in it. I mean, we can. You want to go on? Let's. How money is made? Do you know how money is made? Do you know about fractional reserve banking?
Yeah, let's talk about how money is made. So, how is money fucking made in the first place? I really did not know until I started reading this how it's even made. I don't see it
Okay, I got you.
You hear me stalling?
yeah. I kind of picked that up. All right, so the Federal Reserve does what they call fractional reserve banking.
Okay.
Sounds very, very complex, but it's actually quite
Fractional
simple.
reserve baking. Mm-hmm. Not like baking a cake.
No. Bank with an
Banking.
N.
Okay.
Banking.
I think I keep saying baking.
Baking.
Because I'm a retard.
Maybe that's why I'm craving some cookies.
I'm craving cookies, man. I want some fractional reserve cookies, bro.
Ooh.
All right, tell me more.
All right, so this practice allows the Fed to create money from absolutely nowhere, and from thin. You said you're a magician. You make things appear out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Maybe you should know a little bit about this. But so let's just break this down.
But they literally are doing magic. I mean, they literally are just taking trees and they are, or even cotton, whatever that shit's made, and they print they print something on it as if you were printing something out of yours.
Yeah, they're printing all the time.
And today they probably printed $1 million today.
Ooh,
probably.
Yeah,
Don't
that'd be
quote me.
nice. All right, so fractional
prove me
reserve
wrong,
banking. All right, so I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown. Let's pretend you're at your bank, whatever it may be.
All right.
And you're going to make a $100 deposit. Let's say you found a $100 bill. You're like, I'm going to put this in the account. You put that in there.
Okay.
And once you make that deposit in the bank is only required to keep a certain percentage of that initial deposit on hand. Just for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to say about 10%, but some bank, it varies by bank. Some might be 7%, some might be 16 or 17%. So let's say they only, by their policy, they only keep 10% on hand. So the other $90 of that deposit that you make, they can loan out to other people that say maybe request a loan and then collect interest on that money. So if you've got somebody behind you who's, let's say, whatever reason, he wants a loan for simplicity, we'll say $90. The bank gives him your $90 that you just deposited. That money doesn't come from them. They're gonna get their money back.
This
plus
sounds like
interest.
this is like that Bernie Madoff scheme, right? Where he would literally take people's money for investments, and he would. Well, it's not kind of like that. It's sort of like that though. He would use it. And let's say, and people wanted their money, he'd pay those people off. But then to pay those people off, he had to get a whole new group
Money
of people.
from other people.
And then pay off those people. And then there's this big cycle, and there's always one group in the end that won't get paid, which is probably the last people.
It's the last people, yeah. So
And-
as long as you're not the last person, you're going to be all right.
And what's stopping me from saying, "Hey, Brandon, give me $100. I'll keep it safe for you." And then I loan it out to people, and they owe me extra money. I mean, it's kind of a brilliant fucking idea if you ask me. Like,
Yeah.
And all they're doing is they're making money off of borrowing money from other people. But what's stopping them from one day saying everybody wants their money? Which I don't think it's ever going to happen unless there's some really crucial thing that happens in the world. Like
that was a
alien
big
attack.
thing. That was a big thing during the Great Depression. Is a big thing that caused it is everybody was rushing to the bank to withdraw their money, and the bank shut down because they didn't have the money to give.
That's the bottom.
to
The
their
first thing
customers.
they should. You're a fucking bank. You should be.
You should always have the money.
everybody's money.
It's
That's
kind
why
of
we
like
give it to you.
It's kind of like a casino. Like they have to have the money in their vault for every chip in play for that night.
Goddamn right. Yeah.
And if they have to do that, why not the Fed?
You know what? The casinos should start fucking banking, dude. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. They know exactly what they're doing.
We can use those clay chips all around town. They're
I'm
real
fine
easy.
with that.
Flip them and they say,
Flip
"Here
them
you go."
up. You can do the fancy,
do
chip
magic
flips.
tricks. Yeah, get them
and,
roll across my finger. Yeah, casinos should fucking should be the bank that we should choose because they actually have the money to back up their bullshit.
But that's because regulation. They have to have every dollar for every chip that's in play. But why does the Fed not have to
Matter of fact,
back
they
everything?
call it the Fed, but it's like
They have nothing to do
they're
with
as
the federal
federal
government.
as Federal Express.
Yeah, that is very
That's
accurate.
as federal as they are. They have the name in them.
Yeah,
But why isn't? But they're backed by the government.
yeah.
So they sort of are the government. I mean, it's a.
I mean, it's
a
mostly a
corpora-
private. Yeah,
it is a private
yeah.
corporation. The Rothschilds and shit, and they go way back. There's
yeah.
people fucking hate the Rothschilds, and probably with good reason. They own most of the fucking money in the world, and they. I don't know. What would you do if you had all the money in the world?
Man, see, if I had all the money in the world, I
You
think that
wouldn't
would
try
be
to
pretty
keep making-
boring.
you wouldn't try to keep making. Well, that's probably what they're at. They're probably
They're
getting
probably
real
just bored, and so they want to reduce population and make the world more for themselves and have a team of slaves.
But wouldn't they be more bored with that eventually?
True, yeah, because if you've got
no one else to control anymore.
yeah,
What's this whole NWO thing? It's like, okay, but what's the end game after that? They're gonna get bored with us. Who are they gonna control anymore? It's just now they get to the point where we're all slaves of the elite. Like, what's supposed to happen after that?
they're gonna sit by the pool and drink mojitos.
For the rest, that's it.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate goal.
Not gonna have to work. I mean, wouldn't that be the life? If you just woke up in the morning, just kind of, wipe yourself down with $100 bills. That was
I
your
don't know,
cologne.
man. I think
and-
they live for controlling, dude.
Yeah.
They live for that control, that power they have over us.
That dominance.
We just keep fucking making it. They
Yeah.
keep wanting it. What the fuck? Like, they are totally just playing with us.
Yeah.
And there's no end game.
No.
There shouldn't be any end game because it would be boring for them. They started this because they were bored. That's a fact that we just we made up. And they don't want it to stop because they're making
Well,
money
yeah, they're
hand
making
over
money.
fist.
They've got all the money. We're essentially slaves because, why do you go to work? You need money to live. You got to pay for a place to live. You've got to have food. And then also, you want to have a good time. So they've capitalized on the art of making money.
They know what they're doing, I guess, man. It's fucky.
Yeah, very, very fucky.
Let's take a break to check out our YouTube stream. We are live on YouTube. Hey, everybody that are watching us and future people watching us. We got Elise saying here, show me the money. That is Coach. Thank you for joining us last week. If you guys missed our episode last week, we completely watched from beginning to end one of the best, worst movies in the world.
You still got one.
The wonderful catastrophe movie, The Room. And if you guys were watching us last week, I didn't want to say best or worst, the best, worst. We wrote many of these things and we used a different adjective, noun thing, whatever.
It was a very complex algorithm.
Very
It rivals Google or Facebook's algorithm.
Which is a very good one. So let's keep moving on. Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube. That's right,
Yeah.
YouTube. All right, let's keep working on here. So, we alternative forms of money.
Oh yeah. So I'm not sure. Have you heard of Bitcoins? You know what Bitcoins
Of course,
are?
All right. One of the first times I heard about it was maybe 3-4 years ago. And I heard about it, and that was when it was at one of its all-time highs. It was like $800 a Bitcoin,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay. That was a little while ago then.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's. I think it was still just after Silk Road and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In which everybody knows it because
You're talking
of
about the
Silk Road.
closure of Silk Road, right?
Pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never experienced Silk Road as Silk Road. I always heard
Yeah.
about it after it
Yeah,
got
same
busted
here.
and shit.
The
Matter
Pirate
of fact,
Dread Pirate Roberts, and all that good stuff.
and the guy's actually a fucking Westlake student. He actually came from Austin, bro.
No way.
He graduated from
I
Westlake.
did not know that. Dread Pirate Roberts?
That's right.
Wow.
And he
All
actually,
right.
I just read he tried to appeal in courts, second appeal courts or something, second chance court, and they said, "Fuck no."
Yeah.
he's going to jail. He's in
Well,
jail
of course,
for life.
because it's going against the status quo.
Well,
of
fuck
the
that.
Fed.
I get it, but I think they're pissed off more about the deaths associated, like 8 overdoses.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what if I died from Roundup, which a lot of farmers are getting cancer.
Yeah.
They're getting cancer from it, but they're saying no, you guys
No,
are.
it's
That's
safe.
the thing. It's like that's the same fucking idea with the Bitcoin and or with the Silk Road there.
Mm-hmm.
But he also did put out some hits on people, so I think they're more worried
Yeah.
about that. Well, you put hits out on people. You didn't kill anybody. It's like, hey, well, come on, do I get life for just trying to kill somebody? Like, well, I
Yeah.
guess you do.
Like, I didn't pull the trigger, but
So
yeah,
what? Tell everybody that hasn't heard about.
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
if you haven't heard of Bitcoin,
Which is
essentially
nobody.
it's a at this point it's a cryptocurrency. So I mean, it only exists in electronic form. There is no physical Bitcoin. If you read like a news article, a lot of times there will be like an actual coin that says Bitcoin, but that's just for visualization. There is like you can't physically hold a Bitcoin.
You can't.
It exists in zeros and ones.
How do you get a
binary.
Bitcoin?
You convert your currency, whatever it be, $1, euro, pound, lira.
Well,
what
that's
have
the
you.
easy way of doing the Bitcoin, but there's mining for Bitcoins.
Yes, there is mining for Bitcoin.
And what you can do is get a supercomputer.
Well, I mean, you could do it on a smaller scale, but it's not near as efficient.
The only problem is that it takes up a lot of electricity.
Yes, and that's you can
actually go to a Bitcoin mining algorithm or some sort of calculator that'll tell you how long you're going to mine for and how much it's going to cost you in electricity so that you can even out. So instead of one person doing it, it's probably a whole team of people doing it. And it's literally an algorithm that your computer has to solve. And as it solves it, it gets harder and harder and harder. It's something you can't do at all.
Oh,
it's
no,
something
no,
your
no.
computer will just do on its own. And it's like
it's doing thousands of calculations per second.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on your CPU. But
more calculations in a second than I'll do in my whole fucking life.
Yeah.
So, that's how they're getting it, and they're obtaining it that way. And you don't just get them in 1 Bitcoins or 2 Bitcoins. You get them in like 0.001.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, you could buy one whole Bitcoin, but it's going to cost you $2,700, or actually almost $2,800.
How much are Bitcoins right now?
Right now, they are $2,782.99.
For one coin?
That was
it's
about
gone up
9:30 last night. So it may have gone up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, so you're talking almost $2,800 for one solid.
Holy fuck!
Yeah,
it totally raised this year.
Yeah.
So this is about the time that I saw it. It was 2014. So that's when it peaked up, and it was about 800. And then ever since then, it just was like up, down, very down in 2015, and as of 2017, it is nothing but it has done nothing but spiked up. I can't believe. And when I was looking at Bitcoins when I first heard about it, I was like, dude, all I want is one Bitcoin, and I want to sit on that Bitcoin.
Yes.
And as I kept seeing throughout the year, it just declined. So right now, it'd probably be your best time.
No, it'd be the worst time to buy.
I
mean, you're going to buy a whole lot right now.
It's a good time to have Bitcoins and selling them.
And sell it.
Yeah. Or you can sit on it and see how much more it's going to be cost. But they say we haven't even scratched the surface of how many Bitcoins are out there.
Oh, no. That
There's
can be
a set amount of Bitcoins,
Yes,
though.
there is. I feel like 20... I feel like it's 36 is when the creation of the Bitcoins is going to expire. There will be no... So it's a self-regulating inflation currency. It's very genius in that aspect, that it's a finite amount of Bitcoins, whereas, the US dollar, they just print as many as they want.
So this is controlled supply, pretty much.
Yes, exactly. So it's very brilliant on that side. And Bitcoin is not the first, what they call a cryptocurrency. I was actually looking last night. There's several hundred.
Get out of here.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. Actually, I think I might have saved
currency
it.
that can only be used
Cryptocurrencies, yes.
Do you have any ideas of any other ones? Where are they out there?
Hang on. Take this, and I will pull it up.
Well, yeah. So when all I wanted to do when I heard about Bitcoins was get a computer so I can mine some, and I lost interest because there's nothing you can buy out here. We do in Austin have a couple ATM machines for Bitcoins. Did you know that?
Are there some here in Austin?
Yeah.
Where?
At the Handlebar, there's a Bitcoin.
No way.
There's a Bitcoin ATM.
I'm gonna have
the
Handlebar. How long has it been there?
Kind of a couple of years, I'm sure.
Because I've been there in the last couple of years. I must have just completely missed it.
It's near the pool table, near the vending machine where you can buy mustache wax.
Of course, you can buy mustache wax at the
Oh, dude, I totally bought mustache wax there before, but I don't use. Why did Sam? Oh, okay, it stood by for a second. That's all I saw. That I'm just going crazy.
Calm down.
So he's looking up cryptocurrency. So there are other currencies out there that are just like Bitcoins.
But Bitcoin is the most. It's like the household name, and it's the most successful.
How can you make your own currency, and where would you where? I guess it has to be for some sort of value here. So what we got? Bitcoin's number 1. What is number 2 here?
Ethereum.
Ethereum. Weird.
Yeah, and the price for one Ethereum is $264.50.
Okay, so that's that's the second most expensive one.
Yeah.
And number 3 is a drastic drop. So one of these Ripple coins, or this cryptocurrency called Ripple, it cost
29 cents.
Roughly 29 cents. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 28 point blah 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 blah, or 28 point 28 blah 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 blah. Wow. So
yeah, look, this list on and on.
Who uses this shit?
I had never heard of any of these.
I thought
had
Bitcoin
just known
was
of Bitcoin.
the original one and the way to go with it, but everything else doesn't seem like it's worth anything though.
You got 34 cents. There's one that's $8. But
It's not
Bitcoin
even in order,
Yeah.
correctly. It's in order by popularity, I think.
Probably.
The market cap, I think it's what it's doing there. Anyways, let's keep moving on here. So, alternate currencies. Have you ever used Bitcoin?
I haven't. I have the app on my phone because I like to track it. But yeah, I currently don't own any Bitcoin.
I had a Bitcoin wallet at one point.
Yeah.
And, it gives you a QR code that they can scan and people can give you money that way.
Yeah.
But how is that safer? Like, what if somebody gets your password, or what if they hack into your account somehow? Like, people can do that shit.
Yeah, but it's all encryption based, and if you know anything about encryption and prime numbers, it's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, I know
to
encryption can be
falsify stuff
pretty
like that.
difficult, but what if you forget your password or something? You're fucked, man.
Hopefully, you registered your phone numbers for them to send you the code.
It doesn't have forgot my password.
You have to give a sample of blood, and it has to verify your identity.
So, Bitcoin's purpose is to establish trust and allow transactions across a global ledger, specifically with no need for a third party.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. We're messing with a third party, which is the bank, right?
Yeah. Currently, the Fed is the third party because if I wanted to buy something from you, I'm going to give you the Fed's currency. If I give you a $20 bill, that's the Fed. They are third party in that. Whereas the Bitcoin, it's just me to you. There's nobody even knows that my transaction went through.
Yeah.
To you, it's all private. And how you were talking about the mining process, what it is they keep a global ledger, and it keeps record of all the Bitcoins that are being created, that are being spent. And when you're mining it, you're essentially just joining into the network and cross-checking everything and making sure. And there's millions of people mining, and you're just making sure it's redundancy is what it is. You're making sure all the numbers match up, everything is good, and so that's why you're able to make money off of that. Essentially, you're just double-checking the whatever you want to call it, how many there are.
That's fucking great.
Keeping it all in check. Whereas the Fed, they obviously can't do that.
Yeah, this whole third party thing, it's just a middleman. Would you rather get your pot from the main guy?
Oh yeah, because it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be more fresh.
I can see nothing wrong with Bitcoins here.
It is pretty good.
And I would have liked to have used the Silk Road at one point.
Man, me too. But it's probably just a matter of time before something else opens up. So
well, they did that. They had the Silk Road 2 come out,
but that got shut down pretty quickly. So you've been on the dark net.
I've seen I have a Tor browser on my, but I don't know how to use it because I don't have any addresses. And that's the main part.
Well, you got to find an onion directory. And then you go from there.
Well, sure, yeah. I have an onion directory, but I don't know what I'm looking for on the dark web. It's like whatever I'm using, it's like I don't care what the government's looking at this point. I'm not a fucking threat. And I've said this before on the show. I'm not a threat to this fucking nation whatsoever. I got a mouth that's about as dangerous as I am, and nobody watches or nobody listens to me. So who gives a shit? I can say these bullshit things, and I don't think that NSA is after me at all, like Snowden and shit.
Well, again, you're not engaging in any activities like that, leaking secrets and.
Yeah, well, I would leak secrets. I'm a magician. I probably wouldn't leak secrets, although I did reveal a trick today.
Oh, well, not completely, but
not completely. I just kind of told you how it was.
Yeah,
done.
well, I couldn't replicate it, from what you told me, but. So yeah, let's go back to
well, on YouTube here.
What do we got?
Coach says, "Can we go back to the barter system? I'll give you a replica Trump toupee for a beer."
I like that.
Well, here's the problem with the barter system. It's like let's say you have a trade, and that's what you barter. For me, it would be fixing an espresso machine.
Yeah.
Not everybody's got an espresso machine. How would I get something done? I'd say, "Hey, Brandon, let me
fix my non-existent espresso machine.
Fix my scooter." And you're like, "Well, let's say you fix scooters." And I say, "Fix my scooter." And you're like, "Well, I don't need you to fix my espresso machine. I don't own one, but somebody else might have an espresso machine, and you could fix their espresso machine, and then they can use their let's say they sell lobsters. or they have lobsters and they give away them. That's what they trade. They give you the lobster, which
It gets complicated really quick.
If you ever watch any TV show
Mm-hmm.
that's like, long running, they do an episode quite like this where they say fuck money and they make their own currency.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends up where they give all this currency away and they're like, instead of doing the barter system where you do this one, they make this whole big old fucking chart of, because you do that one, he does that one, and then the first two, it's like much easier if we just said, here's some paper that says this is worth something, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is worth the money that you're worth to give me. I think that's why the Federal Reserve is okay at this point. But when it comes to the fractional banking, that's when it's really fucky.
Mm-hmm.
And then just printing money, not like a casino at all. Casino will back up that money.
Yeah.
You go to a casino with $10 and you turn that into $1 million. Guess what?
You're going to pay it out.
You'll get $1 million.
Yeah. Right
bottom
there.
fucking line. You take that $1 million, put it in the bank, try to pull out that $1 million again.
They're gonna have a heyday with that.
Now we have a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
You bring in $1 million, say, oh, great, thank you. We'll take care of that for you. Oh, you know what? I changed my mind. I want to hold on to that. Put it under my bed. They go, oh, I can only give you $100,000 right now. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Come back in a couple weeks. We'll try and have
Something's
that
real fucky about that
yeah.
shit.
Not good.
All right. So what are some of the pros and cons between free market and regulated markets?
Well, okay, so laissez-faire capitalism is supposed to be like free market, free enterprise, but that sadly just doesn't exist. The market nowadays, the economy, businesses are so heavily regulated that it's detrimental to small business owners, entrepreneurs. Because it forces them to become more concerned with staying within the regulations that the government sets out instead of focusing on their business. Now don't get me wrong, regulations are good. There are some regulations that work out, like for existence, your driver's license. I mean that's a regulation. I mean, no, it's not necessarily on business, but that is a regulation nonetheless. You want to know that if somebody's operating a motor vehicle, that they have the knowledge, the physical capabilities, and that they know how to operate a motor vehicle within the local traffic laws.
They thought that, and they go, well, fuck, people are stupid fucking idiots. What do we do now? let's make them pay for insurance monthly.
Yeah,
and so that's where insurance comes from.
That's where that comes up. Yeah, where you have to maintain, at least in the state of Texas, minimum liability insurance. And you can take it up even further, but let's focus on this. Here, up until 2006, talking about just ridiculous regulations. Up until 2006, if you lived in Kentucky and a couple other states here in the union, and let's say you wanted to braid hair, just either as a side business or make that your main business, you had to go through a cosmetology course that they would range 1,800 hours of training. Dealing with hair, and most of these courses wouldn't even touch on braiding hair. But yet, if that's what you wanted to do as a business, you had to go through and spend $20,000 to take this course if all you wanted to do was braid hair. Now, thankfully, the people fought it and changed that regulation to where if you're not operating any sharp, scissors, razors, or not having any chemicals, then you don't need to. You just need to apply for a simple business license, which, of course, is another regulation. Mm-hmm. But so it goes to show you, if you want to fight, it can be done. But yeah, regulations. They're good. What they have, common sense regulations, and then there's some that are just so outlandish.
Like what?
Well, here's one here in Texas. We've all seen, going out of business. 80% off, stuff like that. Here in Texas, if you own a business and for whatever reason you're going out of, you're shutting your doors forever, there's a very strict and specific set of regulations that permits that you must acquire before you can actually have and even advertise the sale. Let's see. And I actually had the PDF.
You can't just say, hey, we're going out of business. Here's everything must go 80% off. Anytime you've seen that, they've gone through a regulation to do that.
Mm-hmm. And if they haven't, it's a Class A misdemeanor for every offense.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, you have to go through this, and it's very strict. I want to say the going out of business sale can only last 120 days at most, and that starts from the time that you apply for the license. So if they bullshit around and take 3.5 months to give you that license, you've only got half a month to do that sale. So they're, affecting your business, which, you're already going out of business. So chances are you're trying to just get rid of that product at cost. So, to alleviate, any overhead that you've got. But yeah, it has to happen in like 120 days, and you can only make a certain amount of money over what you paid for the product, and you have to go through and do an inventory of every single item that you're going to have on this going out of business sale. And once your 120 days is over, none of those items that were listed can be sold at all.
Really? And who they have to keep it? They can't sell.
Yeah, I guess they have to eat the cost on it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I want to be a future business owner. Now, I don't know if I want to sell physical products, but
there are businesses out here that I deal with. I don't deal with them on a daily, but I have heard of them where they will buy out businesses like that so that they don't have to eat the cost. And I didn't know about that. I said, oh, that's a shitty fucking, guy. They prey on these
thought
companies.
They're trying to move in on them?
But no, that's absolutely...
They're kind of doing them a favor.
They're kind of absolutely doing a favor. I thought they were kind of dicks about it, but no, yeah. If they have to eat that whole cost, they're saving their ass, giving them the minimum they want or whatever they want, and they'll buy all their espresso machines or ice cream machines and whatnot. Totally makes fucking sense. Some people are heroes out there, but they're, it's...
Well, and then I'm sure they turn around and flip those for a good profit.
They throw it in the auction, and people bring their shitty machines to us to fix. That's how it goes, man.
Yeah,
fucking right.
So what's your whole take on like the economy and just the dollar system? Like what?
Man, I grew up in it. Money is the root of all fucking evil. It makes people ugly.
I think it's the hunger for money
the greed. I know a guy, will not mention names, that he works his ass off, and which is a good thing. He works really hard just to make this money, but there's no time for hanging out with friends anymore. There's none of that. He needs to, and he tells me, I want to have an Audi 4 or whatever he says in a house, and I get you. Who doesn't want that stuff?
Everybody wants nice things.
But he gets so greedy, and it's not greedy if he says it's not greedy. I work for it. I work really hard. I guess you're right, but it's making you feed for something when you don't need that stuff. You have a place. You're living in a place, right? Like, what do you need a house for? I pay this rent here. I don't have to worry about any other property taxes. I just worry about my $1,000 rent. That's about it. Fucking right, dude. It's fucking expensive.
Yeah,
and he wants to live in a whole house. What the fuck you want to live in? I get the house thing. It's great. You want a piece of land. That's one thing I think that you should do with your money.
Yes,
is buy land because God only made so much of it, and there's no more.
Yeah,
there's no more left to be made. Unless you live near a volcano area, so I guess there's that.
Hawaii, it's continually expanding. So,
what do you think about money, man?
I'm kind of like that. Like money, it's a necessary evil,
and I think you need it to live, but
exactly.
Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, I think generally, the mass public has become slaves to trying to make money, and it's not like you have to live, you have to have a place to live. You have to have food. You have to have, clothing. But I think we definitely live in a consumer-based society here in the U.S. where, if we were to turn on the TV right now, if it weren't the show, if commercials, it's telling us, oh, buy this, you need this, you have to have this, get this. And it's just an endless dead loop system. Just keeps going around and round and round. Keep buying this.
We're
and
used to
it's
it
going to
now.
make you feel better.
We're totally used to it now. That's all we see is the commercials. I actually don't watch commercials anymore.
No,
because brilliant people made things like Netflix and Hulu Plus without commercials. And I never have to watch them again.
Yeah.
Now YouTube is kind of being a little cocksucker about it, where it's like every video you're going to see a fucking ad, man. And you get to watch 5 seconds of it and say skip, or sometimes they make you sit through the whole 15.
Sometimes you got to sit through the whole, or even, minute 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Those suck.
They're forcing these things, but that's how they're doing their business.
Well, they have to make money too. But there we go again.
It's like people have to make money. I guess you have to make money, but what the fuck is money? It's paper that we can make ourselves, but that's illegal.
Yeah.
But
that's called counterfeit.
A private corporation can totally make it all they want, and it's totally fine. What's the difference between me making some and them making some?
Counterfeit.
I guess, what if I told them, hey, I'm going to make $1,000, and I'm gonna give it out. Just put it on your ledger. That's fine. You guys are gonna make it anyways, right?
Yeah, I'm doing you a favor.
Totally. It's like, hey, I'm letting you guys know. Put it on your fucking ledger. Fuck you guys.
I like that. I'm gonna call up the Fed and say, hey, you know what, guys?
The federal low serve.
Yeah, take the day off. I got you.
Hey guys, I got this here. Just all I need is one of those plates and the paper.
Oh, that's all you need is just one of those plates. God, if anybody's got one of those, let us know. Email us.
Yeah.
Emergency Exit Podcast.
I doubt anyone's got that. Well, anyways, man, is there anything else we can talk about this economy?
Oh man, we can
keep
just
going,
keep
right?
going with it. I mean, it's how deep do you want to go with it?
Well, I do have a little bit of news that we can talk about.
We can do some news.
So that was great, you guys. Let's go to the news.
Got the news with Nick and Lowe's.
Nick's not here.
We coming at you, coming with the light. We got the news, we've got the news. We've got the news, we've got the news. Yeah! We've got the news with Nick and Lowe's.
Los and Brandon, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bilderberg. It's not just a fucking name.
Yeah.
What is the Bilderberg?
Oh
Bilderberg
man, the
Group.
Bilderberg Group. Yeah. It's a collection of probably hundreds of big high-end banking officials.
Yeah, sort of.
Country leaders, big influential type people that meet together. Is it once a year, right?
Once a year in
Yeah.
June, and actually just happened for us. So it happened June
Ended on
2nd
Sunday, I think.
to the 4th, or 1st to the 3rd or 4th, whatever.
Sure.
Now they've been a huge secret for years. Now this is the first time that we've actually seen that they've put out their agenda and they put out who's actually
And
there.
who's there? I actually went through that list, and it was pretty impressive.
There are some people that are out there. Now, they actually have a website. You can go to bilderbergmeetings.org, and it's the official website. So let's read a little bit about the Bilderberg meeting. Since we need some fucking music
Give it
for
a bed.
Since its inaugural meeting in 1954, Bilderberg has been an annual forum for informal discussions designed to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. Each year, between 120 to 150 political leaders and experts from the industry, finance, academia, and the media are invited to take part in the meeting. So, by the way, I don't think the media is actually there because they would have reported on it, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. About 2/3 of the participants come from Europe, and the rest are from North America. 1/3 from politics and government, and the rest are from other fields there. The meeting is a forum for informal discussions about mega trends and major issues facing the world. The meetings are held under the Chatham House Rule, which states that participants are free to use the information received, but neither the identity nor the affiliation of the speakers, nor any other I can't fucking say the word right now.
Participant may be revealed.
Participant, that's right.
So, just to clarify on that, they can
Fuck, I said
go
the reading.
like afterwards, after the meeting, and talk about it, but they can't specify who said something, right?
You
Is
can't
that what
really-
that's saying?
You can't say anything. I mean, you could use the information received to get something moved forward, like a bill or something. I don't know what they're talking about. They are very secretive about it.
They're very vague.
But you cannot say that you heard it at this Bilderberg meeting
Right.
because it doesn't exist. It just does not exist.
Well, up until a handful of years ago, it was all just a conspiracy. If you mentioned Bilderberg, people would be like, "Oh, you got your tinfoil hat in your back pocket there."
A lot of people say that the euro was started there.
The entire
EU.
European Union. Yeah.
They say that. I mean, they're not going to admit it because they
Oh, of
just
course
don't.
not.
It also says right here at the very last thing, it says there are no detailed agenda. There is no detailed agenda. No resolutions are proposed.
No
No
minutes.
votes are taken, and no policy statements are issued. It's weird, but now something that's been secret since 1954 is all of a sudden not a secret. They weren't ever called Bilderberg. They don't have a name.
No, they don't even have a name. That's given off of where the initial meeting was.
hotel, that's right.
Bilderberg. I feel like it was
Sounds like
Hungary or something.
Sounds like Germany to me.
Somewhere, Bohemia. Oh, speaking of Bohemia, Bohemian Grove.
Yes, Bohemian
Coming
Grove
up.
is coming next week. But anyways, I wanted to talk about this a little bit because it's not always in America. And there's something called
Yeah.
Logan's Act, which has never been prosecuted before. And it basically means that any private citizen can't go and talk to someone in a foreign nation and create policies on behalf of their government. It's just illegal. But the thing is, no one's been prosecuted for it, and there's no way we can prove that they're starting anything. All I know is that their agenda to what's their agenda here? Doesn't matter, anyways. But they talk about they're going to talk about Trump. What are they going to do about Trump? But the thing is, they're just going there to talk. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
just like you and me, just coming here to talk. No agenda. I think that's bullshit. And why not just fucking televise it?
Just be open
like
about
C-SPAN.
it, transparent.
C-SPAN, they're all about. No one watches that shit. Might as well just air it on that. No one's watching C-SPAN. Like fucking.
I like that. Yeah, just put it on there. Nobody's watching, and then so that way when it comes up, we can be like, no, it was there. It's on C-SPAN.
Let's look at these meetings here. They had the September 1959. It happened in Turkey. And let's see. They reviewed the developments since the last conference. So they're reviewing the developments. Mm-hmm. So things that have happened.
Things that they were planning in the previous one, they're checking in on how they're going.
But
what was going on in 59? Can we think of anything off the top of our head?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
Just a few years later, the Beatles came around. That's about it.
Maybe that's what they were planning.
But look at so it's every year. It's we got Turkey in 59, 58. It was England.
Where was it at this year?
It was in Virginia, West Virginia.
Oh, here in the States.
It was right by the White House.
Really?
And InfoWars, which I'm going to plug them a bit, which they don't need any plugging. They're way bigger than CNN these days. It's crazy. But they went to a Trump rally there, and then they gathered a bunch of people to come and walk down the street to the Bilderberg fucking meeting at the Hilton or wherever that, and just protest and talk. And I think this is a whole fucking play. I don't actually think that they're actually there, but here's the thing first. So they're over there, and they have all this security. Mm-hmm. They have all these, and it's policemen, and it's all boarded up, and it's paid for by the city. Who's paying for that shit?
Wow, the city is paying
Who's
for that?
paying for that
them
shit?
to come and have this meeting?
Well, the cops are there, for one,
Okay,
I mean, I guess you can donate to the cops, but who's paying for that?
Yeah, but it's still coming out of taxpayer money. I'm sure the donation's going to a different fund.
It's like having a party. Say, hey, man, I'm having a party. I need $5,000. Just give me $5,000. We need this. We're going to put this swimming pool in, And you're like, oh, sweet, when's the party? I'm like, no, wait a minute. You're not invited to the party,
you're not
bro.
invited.
That's exactly what this whole thing's about. They're just fucking with you, Bilderberg. But we don't know what's actually going on, and it's all fucking speculation and hearsay. But the bottom line is that these elite are coming there, and they're discussing something. You could do that at your own fucking place. You can go to your own building if you're going to talk to people. There's conference rooms and private buildings all over the place that you run yourself. Instead, you go to a hotel and you use taxpayers' money to secure your location and block it off from everybody so nobody can come in.
Yeah.
And those cops are standing there getting paid by us.
Yeah.
And we can't go in there.
Mm-hmm. We have no access. Didn't they plant a whole bunch, like an extra amount of trees around the hotel just for more privacy?
They absolutely put a bunch of trees around it. Just for 3 days of sitting around in a fucking thing. And I've seen some pictures leaked out where they're in like bathrobes, like these white robes, standing at the windows, smiling and like laughing at the people that are standing.
Having a glass of scotch.
Yeah, they got their brandy snifter there. Anyways.
Wow.
So next month, which is July, we're going to be doing a Bohemian Grove episode again. We did our first one. It actually was Emergency Exits number one episode. Not our number one episode, our first episode. And we talked about what goes on there, or at least what we think goes on there. So, guys, stay tuned for that. Other than that,
how much, I wonder, is there any crossover from the Bilderberg to the Bohemian Grove? There's got to be, right?
It's hard to say, man. From what I understand, it's a lot. I mean, who knows? Bill Clinton was at one of these Bilderberg meetings,
Mm-hmm.
And he was said to have been at Bohemian Grove as well. So it seems true that they are probably correlated with each other, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe this is where they do their business, and then they go. But the thing is about Bilderberg meetings is that there's males and females.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
co-ed.
I'm not sure. It's co-ed.
No, I remember seeing a couple females on the list.
But Bohemian Grove is all males.
Mm-hmm.
But they say
a sausage party.
They try to say it's not anymore,
is.
but it still is.
Yeah.
They're cocksucking each other. So maybe in these meetings, they
business in June, party in July.
Yeah, and they fuck each other and whatever they're doing. Who gives a shit
hey,
what they're
whatever.
doing? But they're doing something secretive. They're doing a mock human sacrifice to start off the whole Bohemian Grove. It's some bullshit. We'll talk more about that next month. Stay tuned for that.
But as far as like the secretive meetings, like I'm not like okay. So you say secretive meeting, and that just kind of gives in a lore of just nefarious ideas and tactics going on. But I mean, of course, it's all about privacy. They want their privacy to talk and discuss about whatever they want to discuss. But and if it were just a regular person, that's fine. But since these are leaders of countries and of big establishments, government organizations, I feel like they shouldn't necessarily be allowed to have these top secret meetings because like the people, like we need transparency. We would like to know what is going on.
They're all just gonna hide behind the guise of national security.
No, we're just hanging out. Yeah, or it could be a threat to national security.
That's all they're gonna do, and that's all they need to say. And then Americans are gonna be like, you know what? They're right. We don't want them towelheads learning about what we do in June. Like, oh, God damn it! I hate this fucking country sometimes, man.
Yeah, it's questionable.
But they do it for us, I suppose.
Yeah.
Fucking shit, dude. Thank you guys for joining us, man. We loved having you guys here. We talked about an hour straight about the economy, all that good stuff.
That was a fast hour,
dude. We ripped right through it.
Yeah. And there's still so much more untold. I mean, we could do several episodes on this. I mean, we could do several episodes on just the Fed and their questionable practices.
And we still can.
Let us know if you want us to go into more detail about the Fed or anything else.
Please.
We are open to listener requests.
Check us out on Facebook, Emergency Exit Podcast. Give us a like. And if you're lucky, you can find our secret group on there as well.
Yeah.
What else? On Twitter, we are known as EMEXPod. We've been streaming live on YouTube. Brandon, anything parting words for our admiring fans?
Just
make it quick.
Don't be a slave to the dollar.
Don't be a slave to the dollar. It's a good advice. Make your money because you need it to live in this world. We live in this society that needs this fucking money.
But you don't need the dollar to enjoy yourself.
Well, thank you guys for listening. I'm Los. This is Brandon. We're doomed. That's right.